Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matthew Fields, and we're here to present another installment of mindfulness for this mid part of April. And I'm joined, thank you, Sarah Scherer, for joining me last second to help out with this presentation. Here at South, we predominantly work with students with um, high risk needs, giving them social support daily. So it's a great program. We're very fortunate to have school psychologists, social worker twice a week, and then we present our mindfulness lessons as a building third period school-wide. So it's gone very well. We work really well together, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
And we're still learning too.
Oh, sure. Yeah. All right. So today's topic is going to be on diffusion. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll discuss the topic of diffusion. So diffusion is, when I first saw this word, the science part of me was thinking of diffusion, thinking of fusion like maybe two sheets of metal being melded together. So the trick for cognitive diffusion is to separate our negative thoughts from ourselves. So the key is that we are not all of our thoughts that we process every day. So this photo kind of gives a good example of that. So as we have talked about in this series related to the hexaflex, we are over here with cognitive diffusion, and that's the process of learning to notice the process of thoughts rather than getting caught up in those thoughts, getting, bogged down. So we need to like free ourselves from the negative thoughts that we may have in our mind every day. And science research, I know suggests that, our brain, our thoughts and our perceptions are wrong a lot every day. So that tells us just because we tell ourselves something doesn't mean that it's necessarily true or correct. So basically, my thoughts are wrong every day sometimes. So, so the challenge is to, remove those from our true being itself. So. Okay, so just to reiterate, and this is something Sarah and I and the team here at South have to stop and pause and think about, is that values are necessarily a manageable goal or objective. It's just how we feel. So it's not something that we're going to necessarily strive for as to attain an achievement, but necessarily just how we feel as making our life important and as meaningful as we can. So the challenge of that is to find the meaning of our life, is to find what is important, what we're willing to work for every day. And, students each day may have a different value or something different they would want to work for that day. So it's just a matter of them, asking them and buying into, what are you willing to work for today? So we're looking at our thoughts rather than from our thoughts. And to me, a lot of negative thoughts are just things we can't control, like worry, which I probably do too much of, and it's just not very beneficial. There's no control of worry, and it doesn't really get us to the place where we need to be. So dwelling on the future and we tell our students this, is that can really prevent us from seeing what's ahead of us. I know Sarah and I both have the same age. She has a daughter and I have a son, and they're both getting their license soon. And I always think of, looking in a rear view mirror all the time. And that's what we do when we look at our past. If we're looking at negativity, we're gonna crash and burn. So we want to try to look forward and try to look around us more and to try to control those negative thoughts. There's a quote I heard, it's if you try to go back and scream at the past, you will trip over your future. So I was like to refer to that as a main concept for diffusion. So we have acceptance, which, we're just destined to have, we're going to have negative emotions and feelings certain times of the day. And, difference between accepting those feelings, those urges, flashbacks, pains in our past, and then being able to practice the concept of diffusion, being aware of them, but not necessarily acting on them or responding to that thinking. And, we've practiced this here at South. We've had the students kind of try to have an image of clouds as thoughts. So if we look up at the sky and the clouds are moving slowly across it, those clouds representing those thoughts, and that's a good kind of image to practice with them. Diffusion also it relates to disconnecting and anxieties and students, they have a passion for being on social media and their cell phones. Something we have challenges every day, I'm sure all of us, but diffusion, we need to try to be mindful of distancing and disconnecting and seeing thoughts or feelings for what they are. Streams of words, passing sensations, then stop and look back and observe those emotions. And that includes looking at thoughts, looking at them, being aware that they're there, but not actually accepting them that they are part of who we are. Like I always think of, back in school, or if you have a stain on your shirt or clothing, you may be the only one aware of it. So that would be maybe some kind of an example of that. So we don't want to be fixated on that or caught up in that thought. So we got to let those thoughts come and go rather than holding on to them. I really like this quote, and just stating that sometimes the worst place that we can be is in our own head. And I know, Sarah, you as a coach, you probably deal with this too with some of your students or your athletes, maybe overthinking certain plays in volleyball or game situations. So I know that's something we have to contend with.
Absolutely.
It's another inspirational. I do subscribe to these on Facebook. There's tons of them. These little inspirational quotes. Don't let who you were talk you out of who you are becoming. So that's again the approach of looking forward, looking ahead, and trying to untangle from maybe negativity or past pains that we may have. There's another one that our life, your life is as good as your mindset. And I think that's true. A lot of times we are how we feel, and we wake up in the morning in a perky mood, sometimes good mood, and kind of adopt that mindset for the day. And then other times it could be a challenge where we need to diffuse those thoughts that we may have, those worries or those concerns that we have within ourselves. Okay, this is called a view from above, and this is a similar exercise that we've done with our students. It's originates from the ancient Greek philosophy, and we want to think of ourselves and our situation, and then we zoom out and see it from the sky. It gives us like a perspective. Like Google Earth is a great little tool to be able to evaluate, to look at your street, where you live, your community, and then you can zoom out further and further, and you can see the the planet and see the continents, solar system, Milky Way, all the galaxies, all the stars and planets. And as we look around us, we see that the universe is limitless, and we're just a little small speck of that, glittering with light and energy. So in the long run, or in the end, the question is, what do we get ourselves so worked up about in the perspective of it all? This is a video that we did with our students. There is actually a meditative script that goes with it that I will read through as we watch it. This is called Bird's Eye View.
You have to reshare.
Oh yeah, thank you. Do you see it now?
Not yet.
Okay.
There. Hold on.
Okay, you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so this gives you kind of a hope nobody gets motion sickness as they see this. But this is a perspective of, this is from the Aurora Borealis Observatory in Sweden. And they do a lot of research from their base there. So this is a bird's eye view of the coastline nearby. And the script that goes with this, you're supposed to imagine like the waves and the rainstorm that is around us. We can feel the wind, we can hear the waves, and we can see all of the ripples of the water. And sometimes we can get so caught up in those thoughts, everything around us, and that they can seem much bigger than they actually are. So if you close your eyes and you imagine all the sounds with each drop and each sound of wave, you can think of a single thought or feeling that we are having. We notice how these thoughts surround us, how they make us feel. And then as we zoom out, just like this bird in the video, we can imagine that we're the bird slowly floating above the clouds, soaring above the ocean. From way up here, we can't even tell one ripple of wave from the other. So what happens to those thoughts? Have you ever had a thought and felt like you couldn't let it go? Like it was going to be stuck with you forever? If our thoughts are like these sounds, will they last forever? What happens to a raindrop, for instance, when it hits the ground? What happens to your thoughts after that we have heard them? So at this point, with the students, we had them kind of go through this and relax for a bit, getting into a comfortable position with our shoulders relaxed, our eyes gently closed, and as we breathe steadily, we could imagine these sounds, possibly a rain shower to form, to start around us. We notice the raindrops falling, and each time we have a thought, we can see it inside one of those drops. And we can watch it fall from the clouds, coming quickly down from the sky, crashing into the ground, where it then vanishes, disappears, and poof. So then we can let ourselves watch these thoughts come and go for the next few minutes. Okay, so that's kind of a good illustration of the concept of diffusion, of noticing the thoughts, noticing that perspective around us, and then it makes it just seem so small that it really doesn't impact us in the long run.
It's kind of like capturing each thought in a raindrop, recognizing that our thoughts are just a word. And that word doesn't have to dictate our actions, and we don't have to live with the lens of that word or emotion or feeling. It's captured in the raindrop, it drops to the ground, and it dissipates. So we recognize it, we capture it, and then we let it go without letting it control the rest of our day or how we respond.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if we continue to be bogged down and being unable to separate those thoughts, it makes it very difficult to engage, and it makes it very difficult to foresee into the future also for what, good things. I think we've taught the students that if we do that, we're going to miss out on positive activities that come our way in the future. So that's kind of the negative for with holding on to those thoughts.
And that ties into the other components of the hexaflex related to being in the present moment. So that hexaflex, all those pieces are connected to one another. So
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the basic kind of nuts and bolts of the concept of diffusion. Just trying to not dwell or get fixated on those negative thoughts. And that's something Sarah and I are challenged with daily. Students, can face struggles when they come into the building, and so that can put a strain on their outlook for the day, and so that's something we need to support them with. I wanted to, as we close out here, the Take 10 committee's goal is to offer support during a tough time here, dealing with the pandemic that we've gone through here the last year and a half of this school year. So I want to go through some couple of upcoming events that are going to be great mindful opportunities for the community, and not only just our school district, but also the community. But one thing we did here with the Take 10 committee is offer challenges from building wide to, I know we had a reading challenge, we had an exercise challenge, and I think the key is just, for us to find time to do things that we enjoy. Sarah, I know like you're gonna go work out this afternoon. Are you gonna be outside, or are you gonna do this?
no, I'm gonna be inside.
Okay, be inside. So if we can get out, maybe sometimes it's a beautiful day now, get it some vitamin D, it's a big
You're not
boost.
sharing your PowerPoint right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or it says I'm screen sharing here.
Yeah, but you need to reshare
Oh,
that.
sure, okay, thank you. Okay, see it now?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. So anyway, some tips for educators. Like I said, our goal with Take 10 is to be able to support each other. And we want to do things we enjoy. Take 10. We want to take 10 minutes out of our day to enjoy possibly having a coffee, working on a creative project, something that brings us joy. Physical activities, huge benefit. Walking, I know Sarah and I have taken groups of classes out on the trails for our classes. We'll do possibly a Zoom walk when we were remote. So that was kind of a fun activity for us all to do. I'm not much of a jogger, but yoga, we did do yoga a few times in the gym. So those were relaxing activities and they were fun. And then another, and this is something I've been utilizing lately is breathing methods, breathing techniques. I like the 4-7-8, where you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold on to it for 7, and then you exhale for 8. And then, of course, a big benefit for us as educators is to be rested. I know after spring break, we all were fully rested and had a lot of energy. So that's a good part of our daily regimen that we should be practicing. I like the picture of the dog because I think my dog gets probably 15 to 18 hours a night or a day of sleep. She sleeps a lot, so I always like this photo of the dog. Or it could be a cat if you have cats at home. Again, like I said, I like a lot of these inspirational videos. So we'll watch another one here from the Aurora Observatory. Yeah, share it again here. This just makes me think it's spring. You see that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
I'm still seeing your PowerPoint, so you
Okay.
have to reshare to the.
Stop share. Okay, you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So these images, I know Mrs. Hosher and I, we will pick different countries and take these like virtual walks through nature. Green space is a great escape for us to relax and to practice that mindset. So we enjoy doing that. Sorry, I keep going to another video here. Another great activity coming up, I'm going to have Mrs. Scher explain, is the Ceramic Tiger Project. I'll go back to my PowerPoint here. Before we do that, first of all, Friday upcoming is the greenhouse sale, a great local district event. So that's sponsored by FFA. So they do a great job, the students growing all these plants, and they have their annual spring sale, and that starts Friday. And there is a link. If we catch this presentation before Friday, they are starting the sale of that. Another event is we had, I'll have Mrs. Scher explain, is this great activity called Tiger Track Down.
Well, I did not create this event.
No.
Cassie Flynn at main campus, she had her students create these ceramic tigers and then paint them. And then she has put them in various places throughout the district, on trails, on school property. And then it looks like students that track down the tiger and return it will get a prize. And then if a student in the district that's not a high school student, they can return the tiger to their home school, and the administration will have prizes for them also. Our students were asked to be a part of this. So we were asked to have our students come over. Mrs. Flynn gave up her prep period to give our students a chance to create and paint these tigers as well. So that was something we did during our IPR hour for a mindfulness activity. It was voluntary and the students had to pay. It's called Life School here, where they earn points and they can use those points to pay for opportunities like this. So many of our students chose to do that. But there's hundreds of tigers throughout the district. So if you are on a walk or your family's on a walk and you find them, you can pick them up and return them to Mrs. Flynn or their home school.
Thank you, Mrs. Scherer. And that was a great activity. I think the students just really enjoyed going over to main campus and joining in on that hands-on activity of creating the ceramic tigers. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and thanks for joining us for the topic of diffusion. We will join you guys again in 2 weeks and discuss further activity on values. So everybody have a great week and enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the weather, and hope to see you all soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.